When was the last time you actually read your dog's food label? Do you feed them from a plastic bowl, leave their water overnight, or eyeball one extra scoop of love? In 2025, a nationwide veterinary report revealed that over 90% of emergency vet visits were linked to these exact feeding mistakes. So, let's reveal the first deadly mistake every dog owner needs to stop right now. Mistake 1. The post-meal walk of death. This mistake almost killed my German Shepherd, and I was doing it because I thought I was being a good owner. Here's the scenario. You feed your dog, then immediately take them for a walk or let them run around. Seems healthy, right? Wrong. Feeding your dog, then exercising them is like shaking a soda can. After opening it, their stomach fills with food and gas, then violent movement causes it to flip upside down. Veterinarians call it gastric dilation volvulus. You'll call it a $7,000 emergency surgery if your dog is lucky enough to survive the drive to the vet. Purdue's veterinary school found that 30% of bloat cases are fatal even with treatment. And the number one trigger? Post-meal exercise. Large breeds are most vulnerable, but I've seen it kill a beagle. The warning signs: pacing, drooling, trying to vomit, but nothing comes out. By the time you notice, you have less than 2 hours before organ failure. The rule that will save your dog's life: walk first, feed second. Always wait a minimum of 30 minutes after meals before any activity. This one change could be the difference between 10 years with your dog and a nightmare phone call from an emergency vet at 3 a.m. Mistake 2. Feeding euthanized animals. Stop right now and flip over your dog food bag. Look at the first ingredient. If it doesn't say chicken, beef, or salmon, if it says meat byproduct or animal meal, you need to hear this. The pet food industry has a secret they hope you never discover. Meat byproduct is a legal term that includes beaks, feathers, hooves, and tumor tissue rejected for human consumption. But it gets worse. A Tufts University investigation found that 40% of commercial dog foods contain euthanized animal remains. Yes, you read that correctly. The FDA allows it under rendered animal products. Here's your survival checklist. Avoid anything listing corn, wheat, or soy in the top 5 ingredients. These are cheap fillers that spike blood sugar and trigger allergies. Look for whole proteins like chicken or salmon, not poultry meal. Check for artificial preservatives like BHA and BHT, both banned in human food in Europe because they cause cancer. A UC Davis study proved that dogs on high-quality protein diets lived 19% longer with 50% fewer vet visits. The bag costs $20 more per month, but it saves you thousands in medical bills and buys you irreplaceable time with your best friend. Mistake 3. The bowl that's killing their brain. Wild question. How long does it take your dog to finish their meal? 90 seconds? 2 minutes? Now compare that to wild dogs who spend 6 to 8 hours daily hunting, tracking, and working for every bite. Your dog's 10,000-year-old brain is wired for the hunt, and you're giving them food in a bowl like they're livestock. Yale researchers did brain scans on bowl-fed dogs and found something heartbreaking. Their brain activity mirrored humans with clinical depression, and their cortisol, the stress hormone, 40% higher than dogs who work for food. Every time you fill that bowl, you're trading their mental health for 30 seconds of convenience. But here's the crazy part. The solution is easier than you think. Scatter their kibble across the backyard. Hide it in a rolled-up towel. Use a $12 puzzle feeder. Dogs who hunt their meals show 65% less destructive behavior and sleep 30% deeper. Oxford's K9 Cognition Lab proved it. Your dog doesn't need an easy meal. They need a reason to think, to search, to feel like the predator they were born to be. 5 extra minutes of setup buys you a calmer, smarter, happier dog. Mistake 4. Treats that are actually poison. Your dog begs. You cave. You toss them a piece of cheese, a bite of bacon, or a commercial treat from the store. But do you know what's actually in those treats? The FDA's Center for Veterinary Medicine issued warnings about treats made in China containing toxic levels of arsenic, lead, and melamine, the same chemical that killed thousands of dogs in the 2007 pet food recall. Rawhide chews. They're often treated with bleach and formaldehyde. Jerky treats have been linked to over 5,000 dog deaths and 6,200 illnesses since 2007. Even grain-free treats can cause dilated cardiomyopathy, a fatal heart condition, according to the FDA's 2019 investigation. The safest treats? Single-ingredient options like freeze-dried liver, plain sweet potato, or carrots. If you can't pronounce an ingredient, don't feed it. And remember, treats should never exceed 10% of daily calories. That one extra treat might seem harmless, but it's adding up to obesity, disease, and shortened lifespan. Mistake 5. The hidden food allergy nightmare. Your dog scratches constantly, licks their paws raw, gets ear infections every month, and you keep refilling the same food bag, thinking it's just sensitive skin. Wrong. A landmark study from North Carolina State found that 62% of chronic skin issues in dogs are actually food allergies in disguise. The most common culprits? Chicken, beef, dairy, and wheat, the exact ingredients in 90% of commercial dog foods. Here's the brutal part. It takes 6 to 8 weeks of eating an allergen for symptoms to appear. So you never connect the dots between the food and the scratching. Your vet prescribes antibiotics for infections, steroids for itching, but never addresses the root cause. The gold standard test? An elimination diet. Feed a novel protein like duck or venison with sweet potato for 8 to 12 weeks. Absolutely nothing else. If symptoms vanish, you found your answer. Then reintroduce old ingredients, one at a time to identify the trigger. Food allergies don't just cause itching, they steal quality of life. Stop masking symptoms and start investigating the source. Mistake 6. The bacteria-filled water bowl. You fill the water bowl in the morning and forget about it until the next day. By afternoon, it's half empty, filled with backwash, saliva, and floating kibble bits. Your dog drinks it anyway because they have no choice. But here's what you're not seeing. Bacteria colonies doubling every 20 minutes in that stagnant water. A study by Hartpury University analyzed dog water bowls and found fecal coliform bacteria, E. coli, and salmonella in 45% of samples. Essentially, your dog is drinking from a petri dish. Dehydration is even more insidious. Dogs need 1 ounce of water per pound of body weight daily. A 50-pound dog needs over 6 cups. When they're even slightly dehydrated, kidney function drops, toxins build up, and urinary crystals form that lead to painful bladder stones. The American Kennel Club reports that chronic low-level dehydration contributes to kidney disease, the number 2 killer of senior dogs. The fix is absurdly simple. Wash the bowl with soap daily, refill with fresh water twice a day minimum, and add a second bowl in another room. Water isn't just important, it's literally the difference between organs functioning or failing. Mistake 7. The 18-hour starvation cycle. You feed your dog once a day, right? Morning or evening, one big meal, done. But here's what's happening inside their body while you're at work. Their stomach acid is building up with nothing to digest. For 18 straight hours. Imagine drinking pure battery acid on an empty stomach. That's what your dog's stomach lining is experiencing. A UCLA study tracked 10,000 dogs and found something terrifying. Dogs fed once daily had 73% higher rates of gastric torsion, a condition where the stomach literally flips inside out and kills within 2 or 3 hours. No warning, just sudden collapse. Does your dog lick the floor obsessively? Eat grass like they're starving? That's not quirky behavior. That's acid reflux screaming through their body, trying to neutralize the burning. The fix is stupidly simple. Split the same amount of food into 2 meals. Morning and evening. That's it. Harvard tracked dogs for 14 years and found that twice-daily feeders lived 2.1 years longer. Your dog's stomach isn't a gas tank you fill once. It's an engine that needs steady fuel to run without destroying itself. Mistake 8. The deadly extra scoop of love. Be honest. Do you eyeball your dog's food portions? A little extra here. One more scoop there just to be nice. That generosity is killing them. The Association for Pet Obesity Prevention just released data that should terrify you. 59% of American dogs are clinically obese, and their owners have zero idea. Here's the math. That will haunt you. Every extra pound on a 50-pound dog equals 10 human pounds. That little extra you're adding at dinner? It's the equivalent of you eating an entire pizza every single day. Cornell University tracked 2,000 dogs for 15 years and found that dogs fed precisely measured portions lived 2.8 years longer than their overfed siblings. But the fat isn't just sitting under their skin looking cute. It's wrapping around their heart, squeezing their lungs, grinding down their joints with every single step they take. You think you're showing love with extra food, but real love is buying a $6 measuring cup and using it every single meal. Precision equals lifespan. Mistake 9. The senior dog-eating puppy poison. Your 10-year-old Labrador is eating the same food as a 6-month-old puppy down the street. That's not just wrong. That's nutritional insanity. A puppy's body is building bone at lightning speed, needing 30% protein and precise calcium ratios. Feed them adult food too early, and you're guaranteeing hip dysplasia and joint problems by age 5, confirmed by the Journal of Veterinary Medicine. But here's what kills senior dogs. After age 7, their metabolism drops 20%. Their kibble stays the same. The result? They're consuming 400 extra calories daily, leading to obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Ohio State's veterinary program found that switching to age-appropriate food at each life stage increased median lifespan by 1.7 years. Your dog's nutritional needs at 2 months, 2 years, and 12 years are as different as a toddler's, an athlete's, and a retiree's. Feed the age, not the habit. Mistake 10. The 400-degree nutrient destroyer. That complete and balanced kibble you're feeding has been cooked at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, destroying 60% of its nutrients. The Journal of Animal Physiology revealed that heat processing obliterates heat-sensitive vitamins, denatures proteins, and creates carcinogenic compounds called advanced glycation end products. Meanwhile, a 10-year Purdue study found something incredible. Dogs eating fresh vegetables just 3 times weekly had a 90% reduced risk of bladder cancer. Let that sink in. Fresh food isn't hippie nonsense. It's peer-reviewed science. But here's the catch. Scraps from your plate will kill your dog. They need balanced ratios. 40% lean protein, 50% vegetables and complex carbs, 10% healthy fats, plus calcium and omega-3 supplements. Veterinary nutritionists recommend apps like Balance IT to create vet-approved recipes. Yes, it takes 15 extra minutes. But dogs on fresh food diets show 35% shinier coats, 50% more energy, and live an average of 2.5 years longer, according to data from 5,000 dogs tracked by the University of Helsinki. Your kitchen holds the fountain of youth. Mistake 11. The metabolism-wrecking free buffet. You think you're being generous by keeping the bowl full 24/7, letting your dog graze whenever they want. But here's the brutal truth. You're destroying their digestive rhythm and creating a metabolic disaster. Dogs aren't cows. They're not built to graze. Their ancestors ate one big kill, then fasted for days. That cycle triggered cellular repair, fat burning, and gut healing. But when food is always available, their insulin never drops, their digestive system never rests, and their body stays in constant storage mode. A University of Copenhagen study tracked 1,500 dogs and found that free feeders had 3 times higher rates of diabetes and 40% more cases of pancreatitis compared to scheduled feeders. Scheduled meals create predictable hormone cycles. Free feeding creates chaos. Set meal times. 2 per day. Remove the bowl after 15 minutes. This simple structure resets their metabolism, improves digestion, and gives their body the rest it needs to repair and rebuild. Mistake 12. The stress-feeding frenzy. This one sounds weird, but it almost cost me my dog. You walk to the food bag, scoop kibble, drop it in the bowl, and your dog attacks it like they haven't eaten in weeks. Their heart rate spikes, adrenaline floods their system, and they gulp food in a panic. This isn't excitement. It's stress-induced feeding frenzy. When dogs eat in an aroused state, they swallow massive amounts of air, leading to bloat. They also eat too fast, increasing choking risk and vomiting. The fix? Create a pre-feeding ritual. Before you prepare their food, have them sit calmly for 30 seconds. This signals to their nervous system. Food is coming, but there's no emergency. Their heart rate drops, digestion improves, and they eat at a safe pace. Veterinary behaviorists call it calm feeding, and it reduces bloat risk by 60%. Your dog doesn't need to be excited to eat, they need to be calm. Mistake 13. The midnight acid reflux disaster. Your dog's last meal is at 9 p.m., and by 10 p.m., they're settling into bed with you. Sounds perfect, right? Wrong. While you sleep, their digestive system is working overtime, and they're lying completely still for 8 hours. The result? Acid reflux, gas buildup, and interrupted sleep cycles. A Swedish study on canine digestion found that dogs fed within 2 hours of sleep had 3 times more nighttime restlessness and significantly higher rates of regurgitation. Here's what happens when dogs lie down immediately after eating. Stomach acid flows backward into the esophagus, causing silent burns that damage tissue over time. You might notice them licking their lips excessively, swallowing repeatedly, or waking up at 3 a.m. pacing. That's not anxiety, that's pain. Additionally, their body should be in repair mode during sleep, not digestion mode. Veterinary sleep researchers recommend the last meal should be 3 to 4 hours before bedtime. This ensures complete digestion, prevents reflux, and allows their body to focus on restoration instead of digestion. A well-timed dinner isn't just about convenience. It's about giving your dog the deep, healing sleep their body desperately needs. Mistake 14. Following the bag to death. Your dog's food bag says, feed 3 cups daily for a 60-pound dog. So that's exactly what you do. But here's the critical detail the bag doesn't ask. Is your dog a couch potato or a marathon runner? A working border collie burning 2,000 calories, herding sheep needs vastly different portions than a bulldog who walks 10 minutes and naps 20 hours. Feeding them the same amount is nutritional malpractice. The Association for Pet Obesity Prevention found that 68% of overweight dogs were being fed by the bag instructions without factoring in actual activity. Here's the formula vets use. Sedentary dogs need 20 to 30% fewer calories than the bag suggests. Moderately active dogs match the guidelines. And highly active dogs need 20–40% more. Track your dog's body condition monthly. You should feel ribs easily, but not see them prominently. Adjust portions by 10% increments based on weight trends. The bag gives you a starting point, not a prescription. Your dog's energy output should dictate their energy input. Anything else is guessing, and guessing leads to malnutrition or obesity, both of which steal years. Mistake 15. The 30-second eating time bomb. Your dog inhales their food in 30 seconds flat, barely chewing, like a vacuum cleaner on turbo mode. You laugh it off as enthusiasm. Veterinarians call it a medical emergency waiting to happen. Fast eating causes 3 deadly problems: choking, vomiting, and bloat. When dogs gulp food without chewing, large chunks can lodge in their throat or esophagus. The Veterinary Emergency Group reports 12% of choking incidents stem from unchewed kibble blocking airways. But the bigger threat is bloat. Speed eating forces dogs to swallow massive amounts of air along with food. That air expands in the stomach, and in deep-chested breeds like Great Danes, Dobermans, and Weimaraners, it triggers fatal stomach torsion. A University of Pennsylvania study found that dogs who finish meals in under 2 minutes have 5 times higher bloat risk. The solution? Slow feed bowls with built-in obstacles, puzzle feeders, or simply scatter kibble across the floor so they have to hunt each piece. Slowing them from 30 seconds to 5 minutes can literally save their life. Fast eating isn't cute. It's dangerous, and you're the only one who can stop it. Mistake 16. Accidentally training your dog to beg. Does your dog stare at you with those puppy eyes every time you eat? Paw at your leg during dinner. Whine until you cave and toss them a bite. You think it's cute. But here's what you're actually doing. You're programming their brain to associate your meals with their rewards. Canine behaviorists at the University of Bristol found that dogs who receive table scraps during human meals develop anxiety-based begging behaviors that escalate over time. It starts with staring, then pawing, then barking, then aggression when you say no. But the real danger isn't the behavior, it's what you're feeding them. That small piece of chicken wing? The bones splinter and puncture intestines. That bite of onion-seasoned steak? Onions destroy red blood cells, causing hemolytic anemia. The American Veterinary Medical Association reports that 30% of emergency vet visits from food poisoning stem from just one small bite of human food. Here's the rule that saves your sanity and their health. Never feed from your plate. Ever. If you want to share, put safe foods in their bowl at their scheduled mealtime. This breaks the begging cycle and protects them from toxic ingredients hidden in your meals. Your dinner table isn't their buffet. Stop training them to think it is. Mistake 17. The toxic food bowl material. What's your dog's food bowl made of? Plastic? Ceramic? Stainless steel? This isn't a design preference. It's a health crisis waiting to happen. Plastic bowls are the worst offenders. They develop microscopic scratches that harbor bacteria even after washing. A study by the National Sanitation Foundation tested pet bowls and found that plastic bowls contained 10 times more bacteria than stainless steel, including Salmonella, E. coli, and MRSA. And here's the kicker. Those bacteria don't just cause stomach issues. They're triggering something called plastic dish dermatitis. Does your dog have discoloration around their muzzle? Lost pigment on their nose? Chronic acne on their chin? That's an allergic reaction to the chemicals in cheap plastic bowls. The dyes and BPA leach into food and water, especially when exposed to heat or sunlight. Ceramic bowls aren't much better. Unless they're specifically labeled food safe and lead-free, many imported ceramic bowls contain lead glazes that poison your dog with every meal. The FDA issued warnings about lead poisoning from decorative pet bowls, causing neurological damage and organ failure. The only safe choice? Stainless steel. Medical grade, dishwasher safe, bacteria resistant. Replace plastic and ceramic today. Your dog's immune system will thank you. Mistake 18. Ignoring the silent food strike warning. Your dog suddenly stops eating, sniffs the bowl, walks away. You panic. You add chicken broth, wet food, treats, anything to make them eat. But here's what most owners miss. Food refusal is never about the food. It's a symptom. Veterinary internal medicine specialists at Cornell found that sudden appetite loss is the #1 early warning sign of serious illness. It could be dental pain from a cracked tooth or abscess. It could be gastrointestinal blockage from a swallowed toy. It could be kidney disease, liver failure, or even cancer. But here's the dangerous part. When you fix the problem by adding tastier food, you mask the symptom without addressing the cause. Your dog starts eating again, so you think everything's fine. Meanwhile, the underlying condition is progressing silently. The rule: if your dog refuses 2 consecutive meals, call your vet immediately, not next week, not when you see how it goes. Immediately. Dogs are hardwired to eat. It's survival. When they don't, something is seriously wrong. A UC Davis study found that early intervention in appetite loss cases improved survival rates by 78%. Your dog isn't being picky. They're telling you something is wrong. Listen before it's too late. Mistake 19. The grain-free heart failure. Grain-free dog food exploded in popularity, marketed as healthier, more natural, closer to a wolf's diet. You switched your dog to grain-free thinking you were upgrading. But the FDA just dropped a bombshell. Grain-free diets are linked to a fatal heart condition called dilated cardiomyopathy. Between 2014 and 2019, the FDA investigated over 1,100 cases of DCM in dogs eating grain-free foods, with 280 deaths. The culprit? When grains are removed, manufacturers replace them with potatoes, peas, and lentils, ingredients that block taurine absorption, an amino acid critical for heart function. Without enough taurine, the heart muscle weakens, stretches, and eventually fails. The scariest part? There are no symptoms until it's advanced. Your dog seems fine, then suddenly collapses from heart failure. Breeds like Golden Retrievers, Labradors, and Cocker Spaniels are most vulnerable, but it's killing dogs of all breeds and sizes. Cardiologists at Tufts University are begging owners, unless your dog has a diagnosed grain allergy, which is extremely rare, feed a grain-inclusive diet. Grains aren't fillers. They're safe, digestible, and have been in dog food for decades without issues. That premium grain-free food might be destroying your dog's heart right now. Check your bag. Make the switch. Don't wait until your dog collapses to find out the truth. Mistake 20. The wrong temperature feeding. This mistake sounds ridiculous, but it's costing dogs their lives. You pull food straight from the fridge and dump it in the bowl, or you microwave it until it's steaming hot. Both extremes are dangerous. Cold food straight from the refrigerator shocks the digestive system. It causes stomach cramping, slows digestion, and can trigger vomiting, especially in dogs with sensitive stomachs or megaesophagus. A study from the Journal of Small Animal Practice found that cold food increases regurgitation risk by 40% in susceptible breeds, like German Shepherds and Great Danes. On the flip side, food that's too hot burns the mouth, throat, and esophagus. Dogs don't have the same heat sensitivity as humans. They'll gulp scalding food without realizing it's burning tissue. Repeated burns lead to scar tissue, strictures, and chronic esophageal inflammation that makes swallowing painful for life. The ideal temperature? Room temperature, or slightly warm, around 100 grader, roughly body temperature. If you're heating food, microwave it in short bursts and stir thoroughly to eliminate hot spots. Always test with your finger before serving. A University of Minnesota veterinary study found that serving food at optimal temperature improved nutrient absorption by 15% and reduced digestive upset by 60%. Temperature isn't trivial. It's the difference between a comfortable meal and internal damage. Your dog trusts you to serve safe food. Make sure the temperature won't hurt them. Before you leave, look at your dog right now. Really look at them. The wagging tail. The eyes that light up the moment they see you. The silent trust they give without ever asking for anything in return. They depend on you for everything. Their food, their health, their happiness. And the smallest mistakes we make, the ones we don't even realize, can slowly take that joy away from them. But now you know better. You've already taken the first step most dog owners never take, learning the truth. So don't let it stop here. Share this video with another dog owner. You might just save a life without ever knowing it. And if you truly love your dog, hit that subscribe button right now. Not for me, not for numbers, but because every single video I make is designed to help you give your dog the happiest, healthiest life possible. Because at the end of the day, they'd give their whole life for you. The least we can do is make sure that life is long, healthy, and filled with love.